Hi, in this video we're going to be looking at how to factorize quadratic expressions or equations. The difference between an equation and an expression is that if we look at this example, x squared minus 6x plus 5 is an expression. If I set it equal to something, say equal to 0, then it becomes an equation. So for the moment we will leave it as an expression. Now, when we try to factorize quadratic expressions, there are two situations to consider. One is when the coefficient of the x squared factor is 1. As we see on the left here, we have x squared minus 6x plus 5. The other situation is when the coefficient of the x squared factor isn't 1. Like here, I have 2x squared minus 5x minus 12. There is a subtle difference between the approach needed to factorize these equations, which I will be showing you in this video. I have another video which looks at the quadratic formula, which you can find on the playlist attached to this video. But let's start with factorizing x squared minus 6x plus 5. If the coefficient of the x squared factor is 1, as it is here, we'll be looking for two numbers, a and b, such that a plus b is equal to this number here, which is minus 6, and ab, the product of the two numbers, must be 5. Here we have to do a little bit of guesswork, and with a little bit of effort we can find out that if a is minus 1 and b is minus 5, then a plus b will be minus 6, which matches that, and a times b, which will be minus 1 times minus 5, will be plus 5. So what we'll do here, then we will write our equation x squared, and the minus 6x we will write using the a and b that we found as minus x, which is the same as minus 1x, and minus 5x. And then we have this plus 5 at the end. Now, if I take the first two terms, I can factorize an x. So this will be x times x minus 1. And if I factorize a minus 5 from the other two terms, from here I'll be left with x minus 1. Okay, now I have the same bracket x minus 1 and on both ends of this equation, for whatever better word. So I can factorize an x minus 1 here. From the first expression we are left with x, and then here I'm left with x minus 5. So x squared minus 6x plus 5 factorizes to x minus 1 times x minus 5. Now, if this had been an equation, it would have been set to 0. And obviously, if we have two terms multiplied by each other, which gives 0, either the first one must be 0 or the second one. So either x minus 1 will be 0 or x minus 5, which gives x equals 1 and x equals 5. If this was given to us as an equation. As an expression, the answer is just x minus 1 times x minus 5, bracketed, of course. Okay, now let's look at another example. I have x squared plus 4x minus 5. So I'm going to looking for two numbers a and b, such that a plus b is equal to 4, and a times b is equal to minus 5. with a little bit of guesswork and try an error, we can see that the two numbers 5 and -1 qualify, because 5 minus 1 is 4 and 5 times -1 is -5. So the middle term in my quadratic, I can write it as -5x, sorry, plus 5x, and then minus x, and then I'm left with a -5 at the end. So from the first two terms, I can factorize an x, and here I'll get x bracket x plus 5, and then second two terms, I'll just factorize a minus, or -1. We don't need to write the 1. So this will be minus bracket x plus 5. So I have two brackets which are the same, x plus 5. I can factorize x plus 5. And from the first term, I'm left with x. And from the second term, I'll be left with -1. So this factorizes to x plus 5 times x minus 1. If we multiply this out, we'll get x squared minus 5x plus 5x minus x, which gives us a 4x and then -5. If this was an equation, we would set it to 0 and set each term. Well, let's do it. If this was an equation, these two terms, the product would be 0. So we would either have x plus 5 equals to 0 or x minus 1 equals to 0, which gives the answer x is equal to -5 and x is equal to 1, if this was an equation. The second type of quadratic expression that we're going to look at is when the coefficient of the x squared term is non-zero, like here. 2x squared minus 5x minus 12. Okay, in this type of expression, we'll be looking for two numbers, a and b, as before, such that a plus b is equal to, again, this middle coefficient, which is -5. But ab, we want it to equal to this coefficient of the x squared times our last term, free term, which is 2 times -12, which in this case will be -24. So here we're looking for two numbers, a and b, which when we add them together, we get -5. When we multiply them together, we get -24. Again, with a little bit of trial and error, we'll find that a equals -8 and b equals 3 satisfies this condition, because a plus b will be -8 plus 3, which will be -5, and ab would be -8 times 3, which is -24. So what we do is this now. I'm going to write my expression 2x squared. The middle term I will break up by using my two numbers. So I can write -8x plus 3x. Doesn't matter if we write the -8 first and the 3 second, because the sum matters. So I have -8x plus 3x, which obviously is equal to -5x. And I have the -12 at the end. Now I take the first two terms. I can factorize a 2 and an x out of this. So this will be 2x into a bracket. From here, I'm left with x. And then I'm left -8x and 2x. I'm left with -4. You will need to practice your factorizations very well for this. Here, the next two terms I can factorize at 3. So if I factorize the plus 3 out of those two terms, I will get x minus 4. Now I have a x minus 4 bracket here and x minus 4 bracket there. I can write x minus 4 again factored out, and then I'm left with 2x plus 3. So this is that expression above. 2x squared minus 5x minus 12 factorizes into x minus 4 times 2x plus 3. If we multiply these out, we'll get the expression above. Now, had this been an equation, we would set this to 0. I will have x minus 4 is equal to 0, or 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. If x minus 4 is equal to 0, that's a very bad x. X minus 4 is equal to 0 gives me x equals to 4. And if 2x minus 3 is equal to 0, this will give me x equals to 3 over 2. And that's how you factorize a quadratic expression with a non-zero coefficient for x squared. Okay, now let's look at another example with the non-zero coefficient for the x squared. I have here 6x squared plus x minus 2. Now, we do the same thing. We're looking for two numbers, a and b, such that a plus b is equal to 1, and ab is equal to minus 12. With a little bit of trial and error, we realize that I think it's 4 and minus 3. 4 and minus 3, because 4 plus minus 3 is plus 1, and 4 times minus 3 is minus 12, which is the 6 times minus 2. So we'll write our quadratic as 6x squared. We will use the a and b here. We'll write plus 4x minus 3x and then minus 2. And then I can look at the first two of this. I can get a factor of 2 out of the 6 and 4 and x. So I have a factor of 2x here. And that will be multiplied by 3x plus 2. And here, if I, from minus 3x and minus 2, if I just factor the minus, which is factorizing a minus 1, that would be 3x plus 2. So I have two factors in the bracket which are the same. So 3x plus 2. And this will be multiplied by 2x. And I'm left here with minus 1. So this is how that top expression factorizes. Again, had that been an equation, then 3x plus 2 is equal to 0, or 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. If the first bracket is equal to 0, it gives us x is equal to minus 2 over 3. If the second bracket is equal to 0, we get x is equal to minus 1 over 2. I hope this has been useful. I have another video on my channel that shows you how to derive the quadratic expression, and I will do a video which will help you set yourself examples to actually learn how to do these things easier. I always find that if you can set yourself examples as if you were setting a question for someone else, it will give you a lot of insight into what you're doing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like and click on the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.